Hey, welcome to One Word Today. I'm Sophie, your pilot into the universe of Chinese. We are going to continue our journey in learning just a little bit more of this amazing language today. I call it amazing. One is because I'm a native speaker, and two is because after doing some time of this One Word Today, I find this language is truly amazing when it was created, how the meanings are made. Okay, 小心谨慎. We learned the expression basically is about a caution, but it used 3 different ways to describe how you be cautious. One is you need to narrow your attention to focus on one thing. So that's our small heart. Heart is the attention function of your mental activity. And 谨慎, 谨 is about be careful with your words. And 慎 is be careful with your observations and what kind of conclusions you're going to make. And today we're going to have 谨小慎微. Okay, 3 of the same characters from previous phrase are carried over into today's phrase. So in a way, it's kind of lighter for me today. But I want to show you like a shuffling of the word order can make new meaning. 谨小慎微. Things remain basically the same meaning. I just want to summarize the meaning of the characters in a slightly different angle, so you can see it, in more ways. So 谨小慎微, 谨 and 慎 is one pairing, so it's about a caution. And then the content to caution about, one is 小, one is 微. So this is another way of language formation. We take caution, and then the object of what we caution about are paired next to each other. But then 谨 and 慎, even if they are caution, I want to point out the difference. So yeah, we know this is about talking. So with this speaking symbol on the left, and this is the heart symbol on the left. This is about observation and drawing conclusions, right? So just simply see it this way. 谨 is about output. What you say is your output, right? And 慎 is your input. What you see and what you think is your input, your mental activity. So in either directions of how you interact with the world, you take caution. 小, okay, small. I want to talk about 小 today because that's my new discovery and why this is amazing language to me. Like after I've been doing this today is over 200 episodes that I've done, and I have looking at each individual character, try to make meaning first to myself and then to the audience, right? So by doing this, I make discoveries. Before we came across this 大 and 小, big and small concept a few times because they are, basic meanings and commonly used in phrases, in expressions. So this 大, I often explain it as, okay, it's a starfish position, right? You have arms and legs spread out. So that's your biggest span as an individual person to take up a space. So that's, that makes sense as the meaning of that. But when I see 小, okay, so somebody said it's 3 small grain specks of sand in space. So it's small. Individually, it could be explainable, but the language creator actually having both 大 and 小 in mind when he or she, we don't know who is the language creator, maybe it's a collaboration of a group of people, or maybe there is a mastermind. There are legends about how Chinese language was created by this one, smart person, but we don't know. 大 and 小, when we see it together, actually placed next to each other, and I place another symbol, which is kind of a common denominator between these two. Okay, we often say Chinese language start from this 2 strokes, left and right, and they put together almost like in the shape of the Eiffel Tower, right? When you see from the side, the Eiffel Tower, I hope I pronounced it correctly, in Paris. So that's the shape of it, right? Standing tall like that with 2 bases, like 2 legs. And that's our human figure. And we see that often in the language. And human figure sometimes also write in this asymmetrical form. So one stroke is kind of with a curve like that. and the other one is like a more curvier, like that, right? This is also a human figure, probably to emphasize, like for human, we have our straight part, we also have our curvier part. Maybe, we don't know. Or it's simply visually make it more distinctive that we can see, oh, that's exactly a human character, not something else. But okay, in the formation of concept of da and xiao, we have this structure in da, right? And then we have a horizontal line. And here you can view xiao is this structure again, but separated with a vertical line in the middle. And just like a lightning bolt hit me one day to pair these two characters next to each other and to see how the language creators could create them at the same time, because big or small, they are relative. Like, what do you mean big or small? Right? Like an ant could be giant to some other even smaller scale microorganisms, right? And humans could be small in comparison to what? So da and xiao actually is in relativity. So how the language creator mean da, big, by placing these two with this horizontal line. I got inspiration by looking at the xiao actually first, because xiao means this one thing, and you have a splitter, like a split in the middle, like a separator, right? In the middle, to mean, okay, something who is like a half, like separated, like half of the original size. So this separation and this making sure there is a something in the middle, not to have them come together again, but have they separated, basically means that something is going to be like at least a half of the size of something else. So that's a kind of comparison. And this horizontal line is like a binder, like a binding, combine, glue them together, or bind them together. The two separate entities are then put it together, bind into one unit. So that, like, double sized of this one, that means at least that this is two times, right? 2x, 2 times bigger than the original. And this is like a half of the size of the original, right? This is the original. This is the current state. So each one is half of the size. So that's what I figured out, how the language creator actually intended this language to me. So by just pairing with this element with either a horizontal line, which acts as a binder, or with a vertical line, which acts as a separator, you have this relative size changing of either double the size by combining them together, or half the size by separating them together. That's very reasonable and logical, and that's exactly what this da and xiao concept could mean, right? And when I put them next to each other, I kind of figure out, oh, I understand. That's the intention. All right, that's about xiao. And wei is a little bit complicated. We can see 3 vertical elements placed next to each other. And the left one is the meaning maker, which means walking. We talked about this before. It's a footstep. It's a repeated footstep. Originally, there's a left side footstep and the right side footstep. They are kind of mirror image because we have left and right always walking like that, right? And so eventually people get rid of one half of it, like half of it, xiao, make it only half of the left side of the footprint to represent the act of walking. So this walking, and by walking, we extend the meaning of walking, just like doing something, you're walking around or you're wandering around, all kinds of meaning can get paired with this sign. So originally that's just walking. And the right side, oftentimes the 2 elements can be one thing paired together, and then each one can be their own thing as well. So here I want to see, okay, the middle part, you see this person symbol, this human figure kind of with a little bit bump over there, not the straightforward mirror image, but this is a person symbol. And then we have a horizontal line just top of this person symbol, which means the head portion, right? This is kind of indicator to draw the attention of the language user to that portion. You can see this is a human figure or a little bit curve on one side, and then there's horizontal line to mean, okay, you look at the top of this human figure, and then this looks like hair. Before we learned character horse, that's why I know it's hair, because on a horse, there is this kind of written form to mean the mane of the hair. And this is human hair because it's putting attention to your head and something furry going horizontally. So that's human hair. And the right side is, there's a hand symbol here. It's a 3-finger hand and with holding a tool. So holding the tool, doing something to the hair. That's the action of this. I mean, that's what's happening in this picture frame. And then we have this walking next to it. So together, original meaning, there's 3 parts. Chinese character means you're walking, but in disguise. Or you're walking so slow that hardly noticeable that you're actually moving in space. So this hair combing act and the walking concept pair together, make it like small walk, take small steps walking. We can infer that here on the right side, hair combing means actually small. And my reading of that, like my interpretation, contemporary living lifestyle, that this hair combing probably means kind of a hairdressing in the past, and only like rich people of a certain class can afford somebody, professional hairdressers, to do their hair. Pretty often it's complicated hairdo, the ancient time rich people with their hairdo. And that's kind of very carefully combing and almost like an artwork, because it's kind of a display on the head, right? To show the social status, to make sure other people view it like it's a piece of something. It costs money to do it, right? So that kind of a micro motion of, hair by itself is also a symbol of something really tiny, fine, small, right? And this is managing of fine things with careful motions. This hairdressing business also amplified this sense of small, like a micro movement. So together, eventually this character carried the meaning of it's micro, it's very exquisite movement. So now we have caution, small, and we have caution again, even if slightly variation is caution, micro. So small and micro kind of similar in their concept, right? It simply means if you don't take care of small and micro aspects of things, like your small habit of something, really, really small, but because it happens so frequently, daily, it's your habit. Imagine in that context, if it happens frequent enough, even no matter how small it is, eventually it's going to cause a big difference over time, right? So this 谨小慎微 means you have to be really careful with what's looking like a harmless micro or small things or behavior or events or characters of something, because that small thing can cause a big problem later on. So I just simply translate it as preventative. And then I put a picture of the horse hair, frosty hairs, because we have this hair image on this Wei character. And hair often are probably most our daily life visible finest thing, right? It has a small diameter and it's a shorter, so it's pretty fine. And this is a very close up view of a horse's face. And from that, we get a sense of, okay, we're really observing something fine, right? Small, micro, and we looking at this micro scale things with caution, with care. So in our daily business, to take care of things when they are small, so they don't become a bigger trouble. All right, that's basically 谨小慎微. The people say the details in the devils, so I think this is a similar concept in Chinese, but we express it differently. There's no devil there, but there is small and micro there. Okay, cash into the currency of thinking by one word a day with Sophie. See you another day.